Hello everyone, I am Seema, Assistant Professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering from Kaveri Institute of Technology, Mandya. Today in this session, I am going to explain you about the different libraries we are going to use in case of a Java programming languages. So what are the different library functions are available in Java programming, and what is the basic purpose of using a particular library in Java is. So let's discuss each and everything about the libraries in Java in detail. So Java, as we all know that Java is not depend on any specific operating systems. So Java application also cannot depend on a platform dependent native libraries. So it actually cannot depends on a particular library functions. Therefore, instead of those, it provides dynamically loadable libraries that can be used by a Java application, which can call at the runtime of a specific programs. So since it is not depends on any particular programming languages, or it doesn't depends on any particular application, Java class libraries also doesn't depends on any native library function. So Java programs doesn't depends on any native libraries. Instead, Java class libraries will contains a set of dynamically loadable libraries. So whenever we need to run a programs, so these Java applications can use the dynamically loadable libraries in order to get the usage of a library functions. So these libraries will provide the containers classes as well as a regular expression. So in order to perform any operations on regular expression or to perform any operations on classes, these libraries will provide the functionalities. So next, it also uses or it also provides an interfaces for any particular task which depends on the hardware of the operating systems, such as networks and file access. So these libraries will also provide an interface for a hardware related operation, such as either in case of a network operations or in case of an accessing the files, or manipulating the files or manipulating the networks, and some other tasks which are very much related to the hardware. So these class libraries will also provide a guidance, will also provide the functionalities, will also provide the interfaces for different operating systems. So this Java class libraries will use the core Java packages as well as a internal libraries. So there are n different numbers of Java packages are available. There are n different set of internal libraries are available in case of a Java programming. So based on the requirements, based on the needability, we're gonna use different Java packages as well as a internal library functions. So this Java environment relies on several built-in class libraries that contain many built-in methods. So in case of a Java environment, it has a several built-in library function. So in case of a built-in function, it also consists of some built-in methods. So in order to make a beneficial works with respect to classes and methods in Java, it will have a multiple built-in methods. So in order to perform a built-in functionality, it will uses a built-in methods as well as a built-in class libraries. So this Java class libraries will provide certain things like input output operations or string handling tasks in order to perform some networking criterias and for graphics or animation. So this Java class libraries will provide a support for n different numbers of tasks, which includes this string handling mechanisms or animations techniques and all. So the standard classes of Java class libraries will also provide support for Windows output. So the entire Java class libraries or standard set of classes in case of a Java libraries will provide a support for Windows output. So in general, we say that Java has a totality, is a combination of Java language itself as well as a standard class. So a particular Java class library itself is a combination of Java language plus some other standard class definition. So if I say Java will have a totality of Java class library, then it should be a combination of Java language as well as a standard classes. So there is a list of commonly used Java libraries. So here is a list of commonly used Java libraries. So the very first one is java.io. So it says that it is a Java library in which is used for IO operations. IO is nothing but an input as well as output function. So in order to perform any input and output functionality, we'll use this java.io library function. So the second one is java.language. Java.lang. So it says that this java.lang library class is used for character as well as a string operation. It says the Java language. So next we have a java.awt. So this is used for an interface purposes. So used for a Windows interface operation. So next we have a java.util. Itself says that it is used for an utility purposes. So by using this library function, the Java will make an use for developing an utility program. So next is java.applet. So as the name itself suggests, this is used for an applet programming, or it is used for an applet development. So this java.applet is used for a developing of applets. So this applets will provide an interactive features to web application. So by using this applets will provide an interactive features to the web application. So by using this applet the Java will provide interactive features to web applications. So by using this Java applets will provide the interface features or interactive features to the web application. So based on this, it will executed by the browsers for many different platforms. So the next one, what we have is java.net. So the next we have is java.net. So as the name itself suggests, it is used for a network communication. So .net stands for network communication. Java.net, which is used for network communication. So by using this java.net library function, we're going to make an use of network communication. So in order to make a communication, in order to communicate with its corresponding applets content. So in order to communicate with its applets contents, we're going to make use of this java.net function. So this java.net will provide an applets, or it provides the classes which are necessary to create a particular applet. So it provides a classes which is very much necessary to create a applet. So it provides a classes which are very much essential, or which are very much essential to create an applet. So it provides a classes which is very much essential to create an applet. So by using this java.net, it will provide the classes which are essential to create an applet. So this applet uses to communicate with its applet constants. So by using this .NET, it will provide for communication purposes. It provides for n different numbers of communication. So the next one is java.math. So itself says that java.math. So it is used for a mathematical purposes. So the name itself says that math. So it is used for various mathematical calculation. So for example, in order to calculate the power of a particular function or square root of a particular variable, or it is eventually calculated for some expressions, value for a particular expression. So these are the more predominant and most commonly used library functions of Java. So these are the major library classes which we are used n numbers of time over a specific Java program. So other than this, the programs what we have studied in the previous session will use with two different library function. The very first one is system.in.read. So this is an input stream which is belonging to the system class. So this is an object of an input stream class available in java.io.package. So a package called java.io. This package will contain an input stream. Will contain an object of an input stream of class which is available in this IO package. So by using this system.in.read, so itself it is says that it is used for a reading purposes. So an input stream, it will helps to capture, or it will helps to identify, or it will helps to read the input stream which is belong to a particular system class. So by using the system.in.read, we'll identify, or we will read the, will going to glance the input stream. So the next one is, so the next commonly used is system.out.print. So in order to print a particular statement in a Java program, we will going to use this system.out.print statement. So as we have studied with this lines of code in the programs, what we have discussed in the features in the past classes, so we'll have this function called a system.out.print. So this statement is used to print the particular result of a program. So to print the result, the print function you can be used. So it will print an output stream of a system class. So here it will also contain some IO packages, as IO will stands for input output functionality. As java.io, the specific functionality of IO is for providing an input output functionality. We're gonna use this java.io library package. So in order to print anything, we'll use this java.io library function. So this print stream allows the users to display the result either by using a print or println function. So in order to print a particular output in case of a Java programming, we'll have a two different print statements. One is a print method, and one is a println method. So both these stream classes of a print will allow the users to display the results. So by using a print also we'll get an output. By using a println also we'll obtain a particular output. So these are the two major functionalities, or two major library function which we are used n numbers of times. So in order to read, or in order to fetch an input, we're gonna use system.in.read, or in order to take an output, we're going to use system.out.print. So as the name itself suggests, system.in, it says that in order to give an input. So as the name itself suggests, system.out.print, it will says that in order to out the result, in order to out the output, so in order to out the resultant factor. So this is about the input and output packages. So next we have one more major thing is why we call Java as a strongly typed language. Why we call Java as a strongly typed languages. So we know that Java is a platform independent language. Also we know that Java is a multi-programming languages. So for all such cases we have a particular reason. So now the thing is why we call Java as a strongly typed language. What are the reasons behind it? So let's see why we call the Java as a strongly typed programming language. Why we call this Java as a strongly typed programming languages. Since we know that Java is a very safer in use, and it will have a robustness is characters. So Java will provide a robustness characteristics, and also Java will have a safer side of use. So for this purpose also since we have a robustness, we says that Java is a strongly typed programming languages. So we know that robustness is nothing but capacity of a computer to handle errors. So we know that the robustness is nothing but capacity. Robustness is nothing but capacity of a system. Capacity of a system to handle the different errors. To handle the different errors of a particular program. So we'll have a robustness, so it will have a major capacity of handling a error. So it will handle, or it will utilize the strong memory in order to overcome with the errors. So we call Java as a very safety and also a robust one. So We call this Java as a strongly typed programming languages because we know that each and every variables or every type of data such as like integer, or it might be a characters or hexadecimals or packet decimals and so forth. So each and every type of a variable has some values, have some expressions. So each and every expression has a type, and every type is strictly defined. So if I want to define any integer values, or if I want to define any characters, or if I want to define any hexadecimal, or if I want to define any packet decimal, so each and every type of values or each and every type will be strictly defined, or it will be predefined as a part of programming languages. So this type, these variables has a type will be strictly defined, or it is predefined in a particular programming languages. So all the constants or all the variables defined in a for a given program must be described with one of the particular data type. So the data type will be predefined in case of any programming languages. So all the assignments, whether explicit or via parameter passing in method calls, are checked for type compatibility. So what are the values we are assigning, or any assignments functionality, whether it is an explicit assignment or it is assigned with different parameters by calling a different methods, all the assignments operations are checked in order to ensure the type compatibility. So in order to overcome with the type compatibility, or in order to ensure the type compatibility, we'll use this, we'll say this Java as a strongly typed programming languages. So we also know that Java is, or Java will have an automatic type conversion. Since Java will have an automatic type conversions and automatic type conversion, so Java will have an automatic type conversion. So if the types are not compatible, then the Java will performs the conversions automatically. So if any assignment operations will have some issues, so if two types of may not be compatible with each other, so if the data types are not compatible, if the data types are compatible, then it will performs the conversions operation. So we know the Java has a automatic type conversions. So the next why we call this strongly typed, but the reason is there are no atomic coercions or conversions of complex types. So there is no automatic conversion. So an automatic conversion cannot be taken place with complex data types. So if there is any conflict data types, then it will restrict the automatic conversions in case of Java programming languages. So the next reason why we call Java as a strongly typed programming languages is since the compilers in the Java, the language compilers enforces the data typing as well as the use of a compilers. So it imposes the rigorous set of rules of a programmers, and it also guarantees with certain consistency of results. So the Java compiler will check all the expressions and parameters to ensure that the types are compatible. So this, whenever we are compiling any programs, whenever we are compiling a program in a Java, it will check all the expression, it will check all the parameters in order to ensure the safety of a particular program, or in order to ensure the erroneous of a particular programs, and in order to check each and every data types are compatible in nature. So the major reason why we call Java as a strongly typed, because if any type mismatches occur between this Java program, it will lead to an errors. So these errors must be corrected before the compiler, before compiling the particular classes. So whenever we are facing any erroneous activities, or whenever any data type will have an error issues, so those errors will be corrected on or before the compilation of a particular class function. So this is about the reason why we call Java as a strongly typed language. So that's all about today. Thank you.